we're going to become champions. Celtic way, wait for the ball from side to side, and until they try to hide, the wait for the ball from front to back. Attack, 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 67, and then he's a burst man, the buzzing and a thousand.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, episode number 184 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast with myself, Mark. We've got Big Jerry with us tonight. How you doing, Jerry boy?
Evening, Mark. How are you, mate?
I'm good, bud. What about you?
I can't complain, thank you.
Living the dream.
You better believe it. You know what? I feel guilty now that JFP claims that is his.
What was it? Living the dream and can't believe it's so good or something like that? I need to ask him what that was again. We've got Greg with us as well. Evening, Greg.
Good evening, Mark. Jerry, I can't claim to be as insightful and as intelligent as JFP, but I'll do my best. The big man's a legend.
He definitely is. I see this is the podcast. We've got a forum as well, www.celticrumours.co.uk. The link to that in the Discord and everything's in the description box below. Everybody's here and welcome to come out and get joined in there. A few shout-outs to some of the lads for the forum. Paul Terence is out with his wife tonight. That's a happy birthday, Emma. Jerry McGinley, Tim Alloy, JFP obviously, Big Jabba, Kev, Malika, Nike. Who have we got in the chat? And Bobby was on the ball. Bobby was on the ball again. Evening, Bobby, Henke, Liam Doyle, nice to see you, Liam. Brian, nice to see you as well, mate. Chris Curtis, hail. Hail, Patrick. G-Doc, nice to see you in again, mate. Grot Bags.
Oh, well done. Ranger boys.
Tapona boy, nice to see you, mate. Not seen you in for a wee while. Good to see you in the night, bud. Ken, nice to see you as well, mate. Thanks for coming in. That's us then, isn't it? So, I mean, today's game, I only saw highlights of the first half. I had a wee family do a thing to turn up to, but I mean, for what I saw, Hibs never really gave us any trouble at all, did they?
Nah, not until the Vickers gives away the silly free kick and then a ball into the ball. Wonderful finish, some header. But up until that, we were absolutely cruising. You thought we were going to give him a drubbing. But Scales is a few people have been on criticising Scales. For me, over the last couple of weeks, for Vickers hasn't covered his selling glory the last few weeks. I know we've kept clean sheets, but there's been a couple of shaky moments from him. But yet, usual Scales is getting it before he is. I think the last couple of games against Hibs, last week he was out. Vickers was out muscle, but that big boy, a big lump, and then he gives away that silly free kick, and then another ball into the box that he could have or should have probably done a bit better with. And left Michael with no chance, but we can't be. It was a fantastic performance though in the first half, but it was just that goal kind of took the shine off it.
No, what came into my head when they scored that goal. Imagine it'd be for the other end of the park. Imagine a free kick.
I was in the left hand side.
Aye, I know. Scales, do you know what I mean? Taylor and Scales took Boggs abuse. I mean. I like Carter Vickers, but I mean, I'm not saying Carter Vickers isn't. I mean, he's the best defender, no doubt. You know what I mean? But he's not. He isn't very good in there. But no. I mean, if we could get serious money for Carter Vickers, I wouldn't be as adamant at Carter Vickers staying as I would be for that one Matt Riley staying. I really would be. Do you know what I mean?
What's
good
money?
For Carter Vickers,
aye,
15 to 20 million maybe.
You think we would get that for him though?
I was going to say 12 to 15, but I don't think we'd get as much as that.
Maybe been a bit generous, do you know what I mean? But But as long as it was going to be an upgrade on Carter Vickers, I wouldn't like. No, I mean it wouldn't be like a case of we get Carter Vickers, we sell Carter Vickers and put Stephen Welsh in or sort of. Do you know what I mean? It need to be an upgrade. As I've said as well, when we're talking about we need to get better than Scales. To replace Scales, I want a better player than Carter Vickers, but
yeah, of course. Yep.
That's the only way the team's going to evolve and grow and get any better. If you're upgrading the departments, there's no point in just bringing in like a Lager Belkier. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't just suit Brendan Rodgers' team or style of play at all.
I know. And you look at the bench today, Mark. It was Welsh that was on the bench. You know, it's not like we've got a mass of centre halves to step in. I mean, we get another injury. If we get another injury to Carter Vickers and we don't get a centre half in, we're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's as simple as that. And big Carter Vickers.
Patrick. That's what we need. Sorry, Greg, on you go.
I'm just saying, big Carter Vickers, isn't he? You know, it's not like there's a good chance that he could get injured again, you know, because it was quite a bad one he had last season. So I mean, there's an argument to say we need another 2 centre halves.
Definitely. But we're not going to get that this late in the window.
But if we've only got Welsh as our backup, right, at this moment in time, we're treading in thin ice. Because it really, I can't see Scales getting injured. He doesn't seem like the type of player. He seems like I think Scales is almost less, there's a less chance of Scales getting injured than there is Carter Vickers. But I just think if we get an injury to one of our centre pair and we can only rely on Stephen Welsh, we are in trouble.
Oh, 100%.
We've known that since the end of last season that we're probably needing 2 centre halves. One, obviously, to replace, but you don't want to say replace Scales, but you're hoping for an upgrade, and then somebody else's cover. But
I think I genuinely think we underestimate just how much Rodgers looks to Scales right now. I think Rodgers almost rates Scales as much as he does Carter Vickers, if not even more. That's a bit of a claim, but I genuinely believe that.
I mean, there is probably a kind of bit truth to that, Greg, and even to the point. I mean, I've spoke to Mike about this as well. Right, for all, right, as I said, Carter Vickers is our main defender, our best defender, and that. But he needs to go in the park.
Yep, exactly.
I mean, he spent a lot of time out injured just last season, even the season before he got a bit of time out with injuries and that as well.
Yep. So, we're a far better team with him in it.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, last season,
we're a far better team, Jerry. We're a far better team with a Carter Vickers right on his game. I don't think right now he's right on his game. I mean, I think he came back from that injury. He showed a bit of consistency last season, but there's been moments this season where I'm like, wait a minute, what's that? And that's not the CCV I remember at his peak under Ange.
Well, I mean, the first season it was amazing. The first season when he came in, but he's never matched that play then. All that, like, even under Ange the second season, he wasn't as good under Ange the second season, I don't think.
No,
even in David Gallagher, thanks very much for coming in, mate. Just before I forget that.
Since that injury last season, Mark, Jerry, I'm just beginning to worry if he's shown the promise to get back to the real form that he showed when he was at his peak. Because I'm not seeing it. I mean, he's still good. But I don't know. There's a bit of question.
Remember, he was away in the Copa America as well.
That's a good point.
And
what did he do there?
But exactly, he gets slaughtered there. So maybe his head's doing a wee bit. Do you know what I mean?
Aye,
yeah,
possibly. But
just maybe
are we hearing any news? Are we hearing any news about another centre half? Is there anything you've heard, or is there
just that Irish boy, O'Shea? But I mean, as I put on the forum, and it sounds people like to me, you sure not as if I was stupid. I'm like, that's just what I heard. I know it sounds as stupid to me. He's meant to be coming in on loan.
Aye.
On loan?
Aye.
As somebody pointed out, I seen that, Mark, but I know they're talking about a loan, but he's yet one of Burnley's best players.
Aye, it's a weird, I know, it's stupid, but as I said, I'm just passing it on, do you know what I mean? That's like the talk that's coming through our island and that.
I genuinely can't be bothered with another season. I mean, that's season after season. We're getting loans after loans, and I know I'm very, very considerate of how difficult it is to get players to Celtic Park of real quality, but I really want to break this consistent pattern of loan after loan after loan.
But it's no, Greg, if you pay them the right money.
No, I know, but and maybe that's the issue that they're not. But I'm not a big fan of just, Shane Duffy
I
and
agree,
Nat
especially
Phillips
with all that money. But you need the players will play anywhere. They're playing him out if you pay them the right money. I'm sick of hearing folks saying we'll not get quality here. You will. It's maybe a wee bit more. It's difficult, but the players will use it as a stepping stone to get down to the pub league to get the massive money. And I don't mind that if a player comes in here for a year or two, we sell them on for a big fee. Fair dues, thanks and goodbye.
I'll be very disappointed if we approach the end of the transfer window and we pull another Nat Phillips type signing out the bag. I'll just be like, that would disappoint me big time. I do not want to see another Nat Phillips, Shane Duffy, big wage player. I just cannot be bothered with that.
I think our saving grace, hopefully, and I'm probably been taking too much of the optimism for Brian, that Rodgers is in total control.
Yeah, I'd hope
and he wouldn't accept that. Although
that's what I've been saying. And even when you listen to Rodgers in his press conferences and the way he's talking, did you see him after the game today, Jerry? He was quite calm and relaxed about it. Do you know what I mean? And see the way
I'm still
of
the opinion, Mark. I've still got this belief. I've still got this belief that we're going to bring in 3 players of real quality before the end of the window. I know Big Jerry's like to me, it's not happening, but I do have a bit of confidence that we've got 3 at the latter stages of signing. And call me a fantasist, but I genuinely think that's what Rodgers needs to have. If he doesn't have that, he'll be very, very disappointed. So I'm hoping 3 big signings before the end of the window.
Why have them teed up? Why have them teed up? Why have them teed up and waiting? There's absolute no need to wait. If they were ready to go, they should have pulled the trigger on them. They've got
no. I get that, Jerry. I understand that, and I could be wrong. Maybe I'm saying this more out of hope than anything, but I really, really would be majorly surprised because every Celtic fan I know is saying this is pretty much the squad that we ended the season with. And
we
that's
said this shite last season, and guess what happened? We get Nanty. We get nothing while we're waiting for big signings, this and that. It's just rinse and repeat.
Well, it can't be, Jerry.
September.
It can't be. I think
it again.
The board know this as well, Jerry. For us to really get the fans right on side, and for us, we know that there's such a good chance we're going to win the league again. Every fan wants success in Europe. The board needs that. And I would be. Do
you think they give a monkeys about what the fans want or think?
I do, Jerry.
Nonsense. Not a chance.
No, I do.
No way.
I absolutely do. I do.
You need to put that crack pipe down.
Well, I understand that they are there to be criticised, but I think we underestimate the desires of the board, and I understand the financial implications.
But what are you judging that on?
I'm judging it on
I'm judging it on the they've done previously.
No, I understand that, right? Previous behaviour would show that there's a fair chance it won't happen. But I think we're at a pivotal moment where the fans are absolutely desperate for a next step to be taken in Europe. The board understand that. Brendan Rodgers is absolutely waiting for that moment. And I think they'll deliver.
He said that on the telly tonight. You get into this Champions League. We don't like to just turn up and be participating. Right. We want to challenge. That's what he said on the telly tonight.
Right.
I'm with you, bro. I'm not in the board stuff. That's a different. But I'm with you, Greg. I'm really confident there'll be at least 3 quality signings coming in before this window closes.
I've spoken.
Probably it could be guys we've never spoke about or nothing, but I'm
I agree,
100% confident.
I've spoken to Big Jerry and he's saying no danger, it's not happening. I think it needs to happen. This is the season, this is the moment, and they can't go through another season with fans like Jerry and thousands others saying it's rinse and repeat. We can't keep rinsing and repeating. I'm
but I'm just trying to be optimistic and realistic and say what gives you things that this board's capable. And
Because
I know
Brendan Rodgers, that's what
Jerry,
I know he said trust the process, and that's what I'm clinging on to, hoping that it will actually happen. And we're maybe waiting to the last week to see if Indian England's got to get a move or in their squad or whatever.
Brendan Rodgers has proven, and he's won me right over. He is an elite manager. He's here because he wants to make a real mark in Europe, not like getting to the semi-finals or anything like that, but making incremental progress. And the board know that to do that, we need to improve on last season's squad at least 3 players. And like Mark says, I would be utterly astounded if we don't bring 3 in of note.
James, evening, mate. Hope you're well,
evening,
buddy.
James, mate. Thanks for coming in tonight, bud. Cameron, nice to see you, mate. Feel well,
I hope you're right, Greg. I hope you're right. And,
I've got to be, because I'm the most optimistic Celtic fan there is, Jerry. Right?
You've not met Brian. You've not met Brian. He does naked yoga and Pilates and all that. You should meet up with him.
I don't do. I do much the same. Anyway, the point I'm making is we need to be optimistic, because we've went on season after season after season where we've had disappointment in Europe, and I think this is the time, this is the moment where we flex our muscle a bit, and I think we will, and I think that we'll get 3 of note, 3 real quality.
We'll hear you on the 1st of September. Hopefully you're back on.
I'll not be on.
And you're right.
I know. You've got to be.
But hey, I'll tell you something. The players that Rodgers has brought in, I mean, that Kuhn, what a player. We said it last season that we showed flashes of it.
What a turnaround.
There was people saying he was a dud.
Well, I tell you what.
Remember that?
The moment for me, Jerry, where Kuhn turned. See when he played that game against Man City and he played that ball to Kyogo with outside his foot. I was absolutely dazzled at that moment, and I thought, if he can continue up that level of performance, then we have got a player, and it seems like that's happening.
His vision's fantastic. Him and Hatate for me today were brilliant.
Hatate's pass for Maeda's goal was a belter, wasn't it?
Aye, sensational. There was some brilliant passages I play, and see the thing is, we're a hard working team. See from last season to this season. I know it's early days yet, but the games that I've seen, we seem we're working in harmony more. We're defensively and offensively as well. We're working more as a unit, as a team. We're a hard working team. That's one thing, and we look as if we're far better organised.
Do you know, one player, Jerry, interestingly, seems to have been the player that since he's come back, everything's fallen into place, and that's Hatate. Now, see, when Hatate came back last season, it was kind of just before Matt O'Reilly made that pass to Kyogo against Hearts, and that for me was the moment the season totally turned, and Hatate was at the basis of a lot of that great football, and I think we're we're all scared that O'Reilly moves on, but Hatate just seems to be such an important player for the team.
1976 Doc. I just saw Doc and I thought that was G Doc, mate. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you. I think that's a new name, in fact, isn't it? Just welcome aboard, bud.
I think you should dish his comment up, Mark. What do you think of that? If we improve our squad by 3 players and every other team in the Champions League improve their squad by 3 players who beat us every year, what makes you think we improve in Europe? Doesn't make sense.
Well, look at this, Jerry. Right, we had at the moment when we started the Champions League last season, we had an inferior squad to what we have right now, because we never had Ida, we never had Kuhn. So if we put in another, and let's remember it's a table of 8 teams. It's not 6, and there are some teams in there who are.
It's a full table of 36 teams. It's 8 different teams we play.
That's what I mean. So the table, your group's made up of 8 teams, isn't it? It's not 6.
No, it's one big league. But no, you play 8 games, but it's just one big league now. Greg?
Aye.
It's just one big, massive league. You play 8 different teams, and wherever you finish, that depends where you go. It's a league of 36 teams.
Yep.
Right. So you play an eight of the 36.
Aye. So many of the top seeded
36.
teams. 70. Aye. No, you play eight games. So you play so many against pot 1 teams, so many against pot 2 teams, so many against pot 3 or whatever. I don't see it like the groups used to be, but you'll not play the same team twice.
Anyway, the point I'm making in response to the person who made that comment is, I genuinely think if we improve our squad at the moment with 3 quality players, then it makes sense that we'd be in a much stronger position to compete and perform, should they have the time to come in and gel. And who knows what the outcome will be, but I think Rodgers knows we need it. I think the board are absolutely convinced we need it. And we will hopefully have 3 real additions of quality.
I wouldn't say the board's convinced we need it. Rodgers knows we need it. And they know, the board knows that Rodgers wants it. And if it doesn't happen, there's going to be, you know what I mean? There will become problems behind the scenes, I think, if they did drop the ball with Rodgers this season.
Definitely. 100%. But
even if Paul, the new guy joining us here, he'll mate, thanks very much for coming in.
He'll mate. We definitely need to try and improve and add players every window. Of course we do. That's the only way we're going to get better. And the longer the players are there and Rodgers more time to work with them, the more chance he's going to improve them and get them playing better. I think, as Greg said, we'll have Ida, Kuhn, Schmeichel for this, plus hopefully these 3 other superstar world beaters that we're going to be signing before the window shuts.
Bernardo's there full time, I know.
But he done well. The first 3 games, as I said, the first 3 games of the Champions League last season, we came away thinking, see if we had a wee bit more quality and a wee bit better luck, we'd have had something out of this. So see if we'd made the 3 signings, quality signings last summer, along with having the 3 that we've got the new, then we'd have probably got out the groups or done a lot better in the first 3 games.
I think one of the things that does concern me, Jerry Mark, is and I think this has come up in the show a few times, I question how many professionals Celtic have in place to actually carry through and administer the negotiations of signing top quality players. And I think that's maybe something, as a fan, I'm thinking, who have they got in place to actually negotiate all this work that's required to be done? And if it's just 2 people, to me, by sense, it just doesn't seem as if they've got enough professional business people with real acumen to carry this through. So that's
I'm sure if they're struggling, they'd be able to bring in a family member or a pal.
But they'll have staff. They'll have staff in that. They'll do a lot of like the kind of
donkey
the mundane stuff. Like, do you know what I mean? It's not as if they'll be sitting typing up stuff themselves and that carry on, but it'll still be down to Nicholson and Mackay to do the negotiating and that.
Yeah.
Frank Kennedy, evening, mate. Thanks for coming in, Frank. You'll never walk alone, 1888. Thanks for coming in as well, pal. Nice to see you, bud.
Mark, I meant to give you a bit of feedback. I was out on Thursday, and I was in seeing a company I do a bit of work with, and I bumped into one of the 20-minute Tims, and I was telling them about the podcast. They said they listen in and they really enjoy it. So a wee bit of feedback from the 20-minute Tims.
Oh,
never heard of them.
They're very good, Jerry.
Nah, they're not as good as us. If they're not in here, they're nifties.
Exactly. But not just a wee bit of positive feedback from you, for you, Mark.
No, that's good to hear. I've heard them a couple of times. But that's nice to hear that.
And then, did you see the second half mark of the game?
Aye.
Hibs made it a wee bit more difficult, but some of the passing they play in the second half was brilliant. But again, their keeper was a dumpling. He should have done better, but it took forever. But Kuhn done well to press him and close him down, and that's something Kuhn's quite good at, is the pressing.
It was my leader's pressing that caused the mistake. The defender to make the mistake as well. Do you know what I mean? So it's a kind of good team effort. I mean, the keeper, that's a keeper of nightmares about that. But I mean, between Maeda and Kuhn, just that press, that it really, really worked out for them.
See, just out of interest, Mark, Jerry, and without meaning to sound arrogant as a Celtic fan, but who is there in this league that's really going to give us a game?
No.
Aberdeen.
Jerry,
they'll be our hard.
Apparently Aberdeen were mints yesterday playing Queen's Park.
I only know that they won. And then I was hearing somebody saying about the fancy name for second.
I don't know. But I think it might be smoke and mirrors up in Pittodrie at the moment. But I was thinking that yesterday. Who is there out there that's really, really going to give us a hard time?
No, nobody.
Yeah, but I see after the game today, did they do the huddle and all that behind the goals? Was Rodgers and all that away or doing the huddle?
I never seen that.
No.
I never seen it, no.
Every day came down for the stands or the board and all that, and we were doing the huddle behind the goals. I mean, that was 1-1. And that was
embarrassing, wasn't it?
Oh, what, man?
What happened, Jerry? I missed that. What happened?
That Clement, no,
Rangers.
Team were doing the bounce in front of the Onion Bears yesterday.
Right. I never seen that.
As if they'd won the cup. You'd have thought they'd won the cup the way they celebrated yesterday.
The European Cup. They brought in the bouncy. That was good. David Murray wasn't there written off, but the rest of them were.
That idiot man's pure absolute scumbag attacking that lassie for St Johnstone to take the drum off her.
What?
Did you not see that?
I heard about this, Jerry. Mark, I didn't see it, but I heard something about it.
Well, I think 3 of them have been arrested so far. But there's a video of it, Jerry, I thought I'd sent you. They attacked the St Johnstone supporters liaison officer, a 50-year-old woman, attacked her and took her drum off her.
I'm not surprised, but what is she doing with her?
Well, it must be maybe that's how you get them into the. You know what I mean? To get them past the security, the supporters liaison help get stuff in and that maybe for fans. So that
she's taking the drum off them.
No, she's taking the drum. She's taking the drum into the stadium, and these Onion Bears have seen her and jumped her to take the drum off her.
What's the Who's the next game?
Animals.
Who have we got in the next game?
St Mirren.
At Celtic Park?
No, I think it's away, Greg.
And then it's on. Aye, it's away.
Aye, next Sunday, 12 o'clock kick-off.
Here, listen, just out of interest.
See that lineup today, Mark? Were you expecting that lineup?
Did
you think Schmeichel was going to start?
I thought he was going to start the Sinisalo, Jerry.
That's what I thought he would have done that.
A few people thought that.
It's just it's a kind of case of is a young boy just come in knowing that he's not even going to get any game time this season or what? Or is he going to get game time against? Do you know what I mean? For playing the likes of St Mirren at Celtic Park, will get game time in they kind of games. Because they can't just let the boys sit on the bench the full season when they're planning. The plan is for him to become obviously Schmeichel over. But do you know what I mean? His replacement in a year or two.
I was thinking about that, Mark. But see if you remember back to Rodgers' first season, he went through the whole Doris de Vries escapade, and I think that stayed with him. And I think because of what happened with de Vries and Gordon, I think he's a lot more thoughtful in relation to what he's doing with keepers, because he didn't have a lot of difficulty in his first season, but I always thought that was potentially something that could have been problematic, you know. So maybe he's just he's a lot more tentative in how he's going to approach the Sinisalo situation than we know.
Oh, that Sinisalo could have played today when he was hitting the ball at the net for that header, but the rest of it was run-of-the-mill stuff for Schmeichel anyway.
Hibs were poor. I mean, he messed about after taking a beating last week, but it didn't really work out for him that well.
No, but somebody that was a new back line. Was that a different back line they had for the week before?
He went with 5 at the back this week.
Aye. And then he's got Quant to come in, and I think they're hounding Dundee for McGowan. So, but you'll need to start doing
No,
a bit
I think did they not come out and say they were walking away from that?
Or did they? I don't know.
I think so. I think he'll end up at Celtic.
I think so too.
I haven't seen a lot of him, Mark. What's he like as a player?
He's a decent squad player. He does a right good turn just like in Scotland. There's no doubt about it.
So what is he? Is he a defensive midfielder?
He's like a kind of box-to-box midfielder, isn't he?
He gets about the park well. I said it just as I don't know if it was Terry or somebody typed it in the chat, but I have said it to Pals Nap. I'd hopefully see him the same impact as or similar to Robson and Hartley. Now they were playing at lesser teams in the league and were written off as not been good enough. And the both of them came in and done not too bad for us. I don't think he'll be.
And we're 3 and 4 years older.
What's that?
They were 30 and 31 when we signed day 2.
Aye.
I don't think they were that old, Mark. I was thinking that right there. I don't think Barry Robson was. I think Hartley and Robson were about 28.
I looked this up the other night.
But McCown's what, 27, 28?
26.
Is he? Well, he's better.
Barry Robson was born in 1978 and he signed for Celtic in 2008.
30.
So he was 30.
Nearly ran out of fingers and toes there trying to count that.
I always remember Paul Hartley's away performance in Moscow. He was outstanding. I think that was arguably his best game for Celtic.
Aye, 100%. Do
you remember that?
Aye.
What a performance, man. Him and Big Samaras.
And he was born in 76 and signed for Celtic in 2007.
31.
31.
You were right,
Mark. You were right, Marco.
I'd looked up the other night just to compare, because when somebody put it maybe in the Discord or that about it, and I put that up.
Aye.
So would that say
he could come on he could kick on under Rodgers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? As I said the other night, Jerry, you and John about it. If Rodgers had come out and said about Big Bosun, well, he's away, but he said the same about home. Says home maybe going to be maybe even going out on loan. And then you bring in McCowan.
No, I think he'll stick with home, Mark.
Do you think so?
Oh, aye, 100%. I do. I think he's. I think he looks upon home in a similar way he looks upon Scales. You know, and I don't think he would persist with home on the bench and giving him game time if he didn't believe there was a right good player in there. Now, I've not seen enough of home. But I just think by Rodgers' behaviour, I think Holmes the type of player he really sees something in.
I'm just going when he came out and said, you know what I mean? They need to do more, they need to work harder and be more off the ball and stuff like that.
Yeah. I think they're always going to say that in the press though, aren't they? I just think there's something, I don't know, I just think that Rodgers sees something in home and is willing to give him a bit more time. But it's going to be, I mean, if there's a harder midfield in Celtic's recent history to get into than Hatate, O'Reilly and McGregor, good luck to home, because
I'm not meaning get rid of home altogether. I'm meaning put him out on loan for a year.
Yeah.
And get him playing week in and week out with somebody.
I'd rather keep him, because you got to remember, see in a matter of a month, we get 3 games a week. Right? 3 games a week. So not only is our Champions League going to ramp up, we need to have strength in all areas. I wouldn't stick home out and on. He's got Champions League experience, although it's very, very minimal. I'd keep him I'd keep him right in the squad, and I think Rodgers knows that as well. I think we're forgetting that. You know, we're going to have a prolonged period of time where it's 3 games a week.
Aye. I think because once it kicks off, you can talk beginning of February, end of February, you'll be playing midweek, weekend.
Between the new year with the Champions League now.
Aye.
So even more of a reason that we need those 3 players in, you know.
I would take the boy McCown. He's a hard worker. I think there's room for him to progress. He's
Have we heard any more on this?
Scottish.
We heard any more on this Engels guy, Jerry?
Who?
The Engels boy.
Who's
I think
that?
that's just if O'Reilly goes. That Belgian guy we were talking about the other night, Jerry.
O'Reilly will be still. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's
What
fine.
makes you so sure, Jerry? Genuinely.
Because Atalanta have bailed. Brighton's matched the offer and he's no jumped at that. I don't think. I just don't think he's going there now.
You think they're the
Want to
only
play
two
in
that are
Europe?
in for him?
Huh?
You think they're the only two that are in for him?
Well, Atletico, they're going for that Gallagher, aren't they? You never know. But I just, something tells me, and I talk nonsense, as you know, something tells me that he's Stein. I think he'll stay to January at least.
I can't see it.
I definitely thought he was for the off because I thought he would have went to Atalanta. But see if you knew that they've pulled out for the deal, I'm swithering whether he'll be away as well now. Because I always thought, like, another Champions League team, Atlanta's in the Champions League, fair dues, you could understand that, moving out to Italy, blah, blah, blah. But why leave a Champions League team to go and slog out at the likes of your Southamptons? And I know Brighton's a decent... Brighton would be a better suit than for Southampton, right enough. But again, it's geeing up a lot. He's walking away for a lot, do you know what I mean? And I think O'Reilly knows that. And even Rodgers said in the telly tonight, he says, unless the offer suits the club and suits the player, he'll still be here.
Was he going to be replacing that wee Gilmore? Is he not waiting Napoli or Sunday? Is that Billy Gilmore away for Brighton?
I think there's. I don't know if it's confirmed, Jerry.
I don't know if it's been a done deal yet.
No bad selling him and getting O'Reilly in to replace him.
But I mean, there's still nearly 2 weeks to go in the transfer window. A lot of stuff can happen. And
I tell you what,
there probably teams spoke to O'Reilly's agent and he's on. Surely maybe O'Reilly's in the kind of position that we're in with players we're trying to sign.
Would you give him a new deal then now?
I'd have tried that. I would have tried that anyway.
Bumped his money right up.
Bumped his money up to 40 grand a week.
More than it is, Jerry.
What's that?
Would that bump it up even more than what it is at the moment? I think his valuation is peaked at the moment. I don't think by giving him a new contract, it would mean that we would increase the value of his transfer fee. I think he's on quite a lengthy contract at the moment. I don't think that would make any difference. I think we'd get more money.
No, but we mean to be straight for a year.
I'm not interested in getting your money from him. I'm interested in keeping him.
Another good campaign shows up well in the Champions League. You'll still get the same money, if no more, for next season than you will this summer for him.
Aye.
Yeah, I think he's off.
I know, but you think three good players are coming in, I know. So
I tell you, do you know what gives me the utter fear? Could you imagine we made a signing like Gamboa? Imagine that. Remember him that came in I think he came in on loan.
Aye.
Brutal.
Christian Gamboa, wasn't it?
That's right.
Was that not one of Rodgers' first signings?
Aye, and for that reason, Mark, that's one of the reasons I don't think that we'll pull that kind of signing again, because Rodgers' experience of these signings isn't good. And I think he does. They want to go down the repetition of another Gamboa. He wants real quality. And that's why I can kind of understand the situation we're in. I think the quality that Rodgers gets, I don't think as fans, we really, truly appreciate how hard it is getting them to Glasgow.
How I cannot get for the folks here. See if you pay them the money, they'll play in the moon.
Jerry.
Aye, but I get that, Jerry, and I see the same thing. Right, it's like in a classic example of that was that Hulk going to China.
Exactly.
And even now what's happening with them all going to Saudi Arabia. But Jerry, we could go and sign a player like that boy Ferguson for Brighton or that, right? If we could afford the transfer fee or whatever, right? But we could go and offer him 50 grand a week, 60 grand a week. That peanuts to another team down in England that's going to offer him 250 grand a week. We can never You know what I mean?
But there's one.
We can turn, see, younger players. We've done it with the likes of Dembele. We can turn the younger players' head. We give them a good wage that they maybe no get elsewhere and stuff like that. But when it comes to see like crazy money, we can't just say, right, we'll give him 80 grand a week and him 120 grand a week, and they'll come.
No,
They win cup, but we can't do it. Do you know what I mean? It does work, but again, it's like any transfer. There's certain levels to it, Jerry. Do you know get what I mean by that?
Yeah, but also, Mark, one of the key reasons that we can't do it, that not enough people talk about, we bring in a player at 70 grand a week. What does it do? It creates major disharmony in the squad. And one of the reasons...
No, I don't believe that.
I do.
I don't.
Oh,
One simple reason. The majority of players don't talk about money.
That's a lot of nonsense, Mark. That's a lot of nonsense. Everyone knows what each other's on.
So when Ronaldo walked back into Man United, all the other players, what wages is he on? I'm only sitting here into 120 grand a week, and he's in. You know what I mean? They were paying David De Gea 300 grand a week. That's a lot of garbage. It's not. You can see if what happens if somebody's getting more money than you, then you start moaning about it. You turn around and you say, "Well, he's a better player than you. He's my main goal scorer." If you want that kind of money, you need to start performing like that.
I think one of the reasons we have good harmony at the moment is there isn't major disparity in the terms of what the top and the less established players earn. And I think that's one of the key things that allows us to really be really fluid and successful as a squad. And I think if you start bringing in players that are earning 30 grand more, it will inevitably create disharmony.
No,
you actually get monkeys.
No, I disagree.
I don't think players will discuss money like that way.
Mark, it is one of the key things that players.
But see if they're worth it, then how can they argue? See if a boy's turning up every week and doing the business on the park, then how can somebody else turn around and grudge what he's getting?
And
what if they're not, Jerry?
Catch you later on. See you later.
Doesn't work like that in a squad. You'll find.
You're saying that happen, but where does it happen?
Well, Postecoglou
all these players that have walked in, all these superstars. You know what I mean? Even at Real Madrid, look at the money they're paying Mbappe. Do you think the rest of them's all raging about that?
No, I don't.
Well, how?
But I firmly believe that if you've got fluctuating amounts greatly of difference in terms of what players are earning, it will create disharmony. Postecoglou spoke about just how it takes one key figure within a team to ruin the whole experience. And I think managing the team is something that Rodgers is great at. I think Rodgers actually has influence on that happening in the team. He will want a player
Don't listen to what that Postecoglou said. He's a thrash piece. Don't listen to him.
So Celtic, well, that's going to hold back Celtic as a whole then. Because in my opinion, Celtic should go out and...
Well, put that question.
The striker, your main striker should, for me, your main striker or your star player should be the highest paid at the club. If Celtic went out and signed a striker, we'll put it into the chat and that. What do you guys think? If Celtic went out and signed a striker and they were paying him, say, 60 grand a week,
would it
scoring goals week in, week out, scoring goals week in and week out, scoring a couple of goals, Champions League starting, he's got one goal in the first two games. Is he worth the money?
It's not as he worth the money.
And do you think it would cause disharmony in the changing room because he's getting 20 grand more?
100%. 100%. Mark, all day long. And that, honestly, I don't think we realise how important that whole structure at Celtic Park is. Well, they've got a wage cap for a reason. And one of the reasons is financial as well. But they know if they start bringing in, players that are earning 20 grand more, I'd be pissed off.
What about Henrik Larsson?
I don't know. Well, that's a good point. But I think Henrik Larsson was, as we all know, an elite, very unique talent. And there are, as Cantona was at Man United, there are very clear, unique, shining talents that you can't argue. But they're few and far between, Mark. And if I was Kyogo banging in 25 goals a season and some guy comes in earning 20 grand more than me and arguably is the same or a wee bit better, that's going to create disharmony.
Nah, I'm not wearing that at all. As I said, I'll be surprised if players even know what the other players are on.
Mark, it's the first thing we talk about.
How do you sit and talk about your wages with your pals?
If I'm working at a job and someone asks me, and it is something you discuss, it's not something.
If somebody came up to me or work and asked me what I was on an hour, I'd tell them to bolt. Do you talk about your wages with anybody, Jerry?
No, mate, but I was an elite plumber, so I should have been
You
on
still
doing
are.
it. But no, I'm the same as yourself. I wouldn't tell them what I was on.
There's no way professional footballers are not discussing.
The manager turns around and says, take it up with your agent. That's it, take it up with your agent. If you want that money, we're not giving you that money. You can go and see if another club will pay you that. See if any other club thinks you're worth that.
So what are people saying in the chat right now?
They're saying you're talking nonsense, mate. You have to put the spoon down.
Okay, I'll accept that. I'll take it in the chin.
Chelsea have slashed what they pay players here today. The average down to around 75 grand a week. Unbelievable, that, isn't it?
Well, that's maybe an example, Mark. That's maybe an example of the basket case that Chelsea is because of the absolute madness of their transfer policy and their wages.
Plunge, I'd be happy with that, mate. If I'd rather be on that as well.
On what?
I don't want to shout out, but he says he's never been on a Klondike, but he's been on a Blondike. Wouldn't mind that myself, as long as it's female.
Patrick, I couldn't grump if the overtime had went through, man. It would have been my fault. I couldn't moan about it.
We don't get overtime, man. Brutal.
You in a salary, aye.
No, they're just miserable. So-and-sos.
Or if you tried to get me to take a salary in that, and I was like, no. Even I worked out the overtime in that I was doing. I'd done 2 hours overtime every day. A Saturday morning. And the money that would have needed to pay me, they just wouldn't have done it. So I was still, even though I was a foreman, I was still doing just an hourly rate job. So like that. They just put you on a salary and then they just think you can just whip you like a horse, do you know what I mean?
That's it. Definitely, mate, 100%.
Are we questioning
elite plumber CSC. Greg's got a wee couple of questions to break your monotony a bit.
You saying, Greg?
Where you go, Greg?
So I've got prior to tonight's coming on, and again I'm about to JFP because I listened to the big man the other night, and he's pure quality. But I thought at least I would come on and contribute some general knowledge questions. So I would say to the listeners, please don't Google this and just see if you know what the answers are. So I've got
that's one thing. Can you Google the answers and triple check you've got them right? Because after that last time we tried this, I can't remember who it was, if it was Bobby or Brian or somebody had got the right answer. Who was it? It was the scorer.
It was Owen Deacon. I said the
Owen Deacon. Right, what's happening?
Anyway, so I've got 3 questions on 2 particular moments in Celtic history, and I want to see if you know what the answers are. It'll only take a few minutes. So, Chick Charnley, question number 1, played for Celtic, Mark. His only appearance was against who?
Man United.
Jerry, question 2. You're right.
I'll wait a wee while and let the guys in the chat put up some answers, right? We'll ask the question and we'll wait a wee while, right?
Right. Okay, so we'll get the first one out the way, Mark, and you were right. The second question for the people listening. Chick Charnley played in the game against Man United. Whose testimonial was it?
I know that one.
Right, don't answer, we'll come back to it in a minute. Whose testimonial? No Googling. Anyway, Mark, I was going to ask about today's forward line because I never got a chance to get to the game. How did it look without Kyogo?
Oh, Maeda done well. Maeda played really well.
Yeah, he was brilliant. My old man actually said that to me. He says, I don't know. He said about the Maeda obviously playing up there up front for Japan. That's where he plays. But he's no... I think he's better out in the wing, but he took his 2 goals fantastic and could have had a third. But that was my pal was talking to me and had said if Rodgers could make... If he had to pick between a winger, a brilliant, outstanding winger or a third choice striker, what would you go for if you only got the one choice?
Third choice
Well,
striker.
that's what he says, but you could play Maeda through the middle as your third choice. On the wing, you're waiting for Forrest's going through a purple patch. Finished the end of last season really, really well. He started this season strong as well.
Now,
you're kind of waiting for him to pick up an injury.
What's interesting, Jerry, right, is I've seen Maeda play on the wing way more than I've seen him play through the middle. But see, when I've seen him play through the middle, I think he actually plays better than he does when he's on the wing.
Did he not play a European game for his man one through the middle? It was a bit shite. Was
that not the Atletico Madrid game that he got injured?
No, he got sent off, didn't he?
No, he got injured.
But he was having a good game. He got sent off. He was playing the right mid.
The tackle. Played the tackle, didn't he?
Hey, what's answer the question, Greg?
The answer to the question,
McLaughlin's got it right. Steve McLaughlin's got it right.
Right, wait a minute. It was Manchester United was the opponents, and it was Mark Hughes' testimonial. Question number 3. Celtic won that game 3-1. Who were the scorers, Mark?
Oh.
Come on.
I couldn't think he was in that team.
Like, come on,
what year was it?
That would have been, I tell you what, a player that scored 2 of the goals, that Chick Charnley set up one of them amazingly. But the player...
Steve McLaughlin has got his nailed them both, Greg, straight away.
He's been Googling. He's at it. There's no way. That is elite Celtic knowledge, so there's no way he hasn't Googled that. He's at it. The 2 goals, it was Chick Charnley set up Simon Donnelly for the first, and then Simon Donnelly scored the second, and then you might remember this name from that period, Willie Falconer scored the third.
Yeah, Willie Falconer.
That's it.
He's no way he's Googling that. That's too quick, man. That was far too quick, so he's definitely not cheating. Well done, Patrick, mate. Well done.
You don't think he's cheating?
No, that was too quick to be. It was too quick to be cheating.
No, but what he'd have done, he would have Googled the testimonial match and looked at the scorers, because we asked the question a while ago. So he's at it.
He's admitting it. Aye.
Oh yeah.
I told you, he's at it.
I thought this guy's unreal.
You need to change You need to change the questions a bit for then. Actually, Patrick, when we start our quiz nights, you banned for them.
He's banned.
We're worth watching.
He's at it.
Aye.
Have you not seen these other podcasts at the quizzes? I didn't. No, he's saying he's no good. I thought he was admitting Googling me when he put the Google with the laughing faces up. No, he's saying he's no. Have you not seen me? Have you not seen these other podcasts?
I get Simon Donnelly, but it took me forever to think about Willie Falconer, and I knew it was Mark Hughes' testimonial.
Aye. Interestingly,
yellow whistle. No, I'm here to make it all about him. His yellow whistle.
Here's an interesting fact about that match, Mark. Right at the start of the game, at the start of that testimonial, Fergus McCann and one of the Kellys. Because a lot of people think that McCann and the Kellys fell out, but it was actually McCann and the Kellys that presented Mark Hughes with a kind of commemorative plate. And I always thought that Fergus McCann and the Kellys fell out at the takeover, and that kind of showed that they didn't, which was interesting.
Well, I wouldn't have known that either. My head's fried, man. Can't see my memory for things like that. Honestly, I've not got a clue. My memory's well gone. I'm an old man now.
I tell you one thing.
Evening, chill, Paul. Hail, brother.
I love Celtic trivia, Mark.
Aye, you get the right answers.
I used to be like that. I used to be a sponge, you know what I mean? Reading all the books, and I've still got piles and piles of them, man. But Just
Faces are stuck together.
Aye, none of that. Or a Celtic book.
Still got a cup of tea.
You're sick man, Putz.
That's outrageous, Jerry.
What? I don't know what more you want to say. I mean, we need to find something to moan at Taylor for after the day. Wouldn't it be a normal week going by if we've not had a moan at Taylor? What if we moan at him for the day?
Right, Jerry, can I say something about Taylor? Take away the European performances, which were few. Tell me Taylor's big flaws in his Celtic career. Because the only things that I've seen him been caught at a couple of times is it against elite European teams. And I'm a big fan of Greg Taylor.
Well, I think Rodgers, I've heard that it's going to be Owen Beckett comes in. Right, so if that happens, it's still going to be Taylor as our first choice left back for the immediate future kind of thing. And
I don't think Owen Beckett would be an upgrade.
See any deficiencies in Greg Taylor's game? I'm just thinking is Rodgers just going to tweak his tactics to kind of counteract them. I mean, there's times in the last few games, Greg Taylor's been over the pitch. He was on the right wing one point the other week. Do you know what I mean? He's kind of playing this kind of inverted role again and stuff like that. So I think it's going to be just maybe a tactical thing for Rodgers to try and counteract any weaknesses in Taylor's game, which there's nothing you can do about his weaknesses. You can't grow him 2 inches. You know what I mean? See if you could grow him 2 inches, it'd be ideal. But there's nothing else you can do about that.
I remember speaking to Jerry last season, Mark, and I had him down as my player of the year. I thought he was that good. I thought it was really unfair, some of the criticism that he took. And I think he's a great player. Really great player.
He never lets you down. He's Mr. Consistencies, like your Tom Boyds, your Jackie McNamara's, even going back as far as guys like Dennis Irwin and Danny McGrain and guys like that.
Do you know what he is as well,
at the same level every week. You know what I mean? Very, very rarely, I would say Greg Taylor's a bad game for Celtic. I know there's fans that think he's a bad game every game, but no, for me. I think he's a great player. He's got a bit of dig about him. If there's any bother on the park, he's the first wee guy up and getting in their faces and stuff like that. He's fearless.
I know. I really got a lot of time for Greg Taylor.
Just don't ask him to jump for a ball.
Joe Paul should. I mean, he's only got a year left in his contract. You know what I mean? So they need to get that tied down.
Did Rodgers not say that he was looking to do that though? Earlier at the start of the season.
Rodgers, 2 days before that, Greg Taylor had said that he hadn't heard anything about it. It was in his hands, his agent. As far as he knew, there was nothing happening about it.
Yeah.
And then a couple of days later, Rodgers did come out and say it was something that he wanted dealt with as soon as possible. So hopefully it is good. Do you know what I mean? But it's a big, as I spoke about this before, Greg, it's like, see, with a year left in his deal, imagine Celtic went out and they signed somebody that Greg Taylor knows right away is taking his place in the team. Is Greg Taylor going to want to sign a new deal to be a backup with a year to go in his contract, or do we let him run his contract down, or do we sell Greg Taylor in this window?
Here's the claim. Here's the claim about Greg Taylor.
No, it's only 6 months, Jerry, that happens.
Aye, January.
I didn't hear you saying in January. Aye, January. Aye, definitely, aye.
Well, I'll say something about Greg Taylor. I think Greg Taylor's confidence level is that high. He's not really that bothered about someone getting side. I mean, he's seen off a couple of defenders in his time there, and who's to say he can't keep seeing them off? I mean, he's seen off ball and goal.
One of them cost us £3.5 million to Burnaby. That must be one of our Celtic transfers.
How much was Ball and Golly? He was about the
Ball
same.
And Golly was 4 million.
Exactly.
Was he?
Aye, he was 4 million. Burnaby was 3.5. And you were thinking, God above. They were horrendous.
That was a horrific period when Celtic signed Ball and Golly. Oh my goodness.
You wonder where the scouting department were for that one.
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea, but that was just horrific, man. That was the Shane Duffy period. Ball and Golly and Shane Duffy. I could have cried.
Henky's got a question for you. He's wanting to know if you can name the Celtic starting 11 for that game against Man U.
Oh, I'll tell you, it was Gordon Marshall in goal. And I haven't Googled. You'd need to help me on this one.
What year was it? Somebody tell me what year it was. Was it 95, 96?
No. It was earlier than that. It was
94 then.
No, earlier. When did McCann take over?
94, wasn't it?
No, it was earlier than that, Mark. Was it not?
No, 94. No, that's Henky saying it 94 as well.
94? I thought it was earlier. When did McCann take over? Was it not?
94. He's appointed.
Right, okay.
Get rid of. It was 94.
Aye, so that was just before Van Hooijdonk arrived, because Van Hooijdonk came in the December of 94, and that was at the kind of, I think Mark Hughes' test. So I think it would have been Gordon Marshall in goal. I think it might have been Lee Martin at the back. Remember Lee Martin they signed for Man United?
Aye. Did Gary Gillespie centre half?
Oh, he's horrific, man. That's another horrific moment.
He's a miles out, man. We'll move on because he's talking nonsense, man.
Mark McNally.
Aye.
Is that right?
He's a coach at Celtic now. Aye.
McNally was in. Tom Boyd?
No.
Mowbray? Would Mowbray have been there?
Aye.
See, give me a bit of time and I'll get it, Joe.
Right, no bother. We'll come back to you in a couple of hours.
We'll come back to you on that one.
Aye. Aye. But
Mark McNally was pissed. Some had a hair on him too, didn't he? But if I mean, he was a big blonde guy, wasn't he?
Aye. Some had a hair, but just he's rotten. Couldn't
He's already put the team up.
I've not seen it. I can't see it. But I would say Chick Charnley was in there. Simon Donnelly, Willie Faulkner, Brian McLaughlin, maybe.
No.
I need to think about it.
The keeper was outstanding.
Was it Gordon Marshall in goal?
No.
The keeper? Was it Bonner?
No.
Stuart Kerr?
No, it was before Stuart Kerr. Who was the goalie? Was Gordon Marshall, surely?
Muggleton.
Oh my God. Please don't say that name again, Jerry, ever.
So, aye, there you go.
Even if Pete De Bear. Thanks for coming in, mate. Nice to see you, bud.
Oh my God. Carl Muggleton. Who did they sign him from? There's a question. Was it Barnsley?
It was Barnsley or Ipswich or something like that, wasn't it?
Aye.
It was doing that kind of Norwich area, that kind of neck of the woods. It wasn't Norwich who signed him for, but
dragged him out of turnstiles.
That was the worst period. That was the worst period of my Celtic support in life. See that period? I remember when see the strip.
Every Celtic fan had it rough then, Greg.
What?
Every Celtic fan had it rough then.
I know. I remember.
Muggleton was at Leicester. He kept Leicester, was it?
Was it Leicester?
Aye. Andy Payton came from Barnsley.
That's it. That's right. Oh, jeez. That was horrible.
Some right stinkers, isn't we?
Oh, that's one thing. We see over the years, we've been rotten at identifying keepers. That's been their sweet spot, identifying. They've always been right good keepers.
Aye. But see, when you mention that period, Jerry, and you actually think of today's board, and then Mark, you'll remember Terry Cassidy. Do you remember that?
Aye.
So that's why I'm not that hard on the board right now. Because honestly, see when you can remember living through Terry Cassidy. Oh my God.
Even Jock Brown.
What's that?
Even the Jock Brown time as well, under Fergus.
I didn't think that was that bad, Mark. It was bad, but it was nowhere near Terry Cassidy. Nowhere near it.
Pete McLean, mind Tim. These boys against bigotry campaign and all that part.
Do you know where they got him from? They got him from Halfords. He was the chief. We got the chief executive of Halfords to come and run Celtic. That's how surreal that was.
Unreal.
That's crazy, isn't it?
It was a mad period.
But again, does a CEO need to know anything about football?
I think with Celtic, it helps, Mark. It really helps, and I think we're seeing that in the the success that we've had in the last 20 years. Criticise them all you like, but when you've got people who have strong Celtic history, like them or loathe them, it helps. I'd far rather have a Celtic supporter, and whatever you say about Dermot Desmond, he's a Celtic fan. There's no doubt about it. Like him or loathe him, at least he's a Celtic fan.
Aye, I suppose it does help if you get a Celtic fan in you, but it's
Well, look at
really
the Huns. They employed that boy the other day. He was a Celtic fan. They must have been doing the same route as well.
I felt for that poor guy. That was rotten.
But see the thing about it, the wee guy obviously was good at his job.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, that's the thing about it. He worked for Celtic. He worked for, was it EA? He worked for Jerry.
I'm not sure.
It was something like that. And they've looked at wee boy's CV, right? He worked for Celtic in the marketing department. They're jealous as hell about the marketing department. You know what I mean? They'd love to be able to market things the way we do. So they've saw this boy bringing some knowledge of what Celtic have been. Celtic are like, you know what I mean?
Well, here's the question,
Mark, how Celtic works to our side yet.
Mark, Jerry, would you be comfortable with a previous member of the Rangers marketing team coming to Celtic and doing the same?
What? With the way they are the new?
No, let's change it around. If they were very successful and they had a really strong, proven track history, would it be an issue to you?
No,
me neither.
No,
but that boy couldn't attend their game last night. He was going to video mass. Apparently, that's where they get rid of him. I don't know if that's true. They say they couldn't go to Hampton. Said video mass. So that was how they get rid of him. But no, I wouldn't. If he was going to do the business for us, no, it wouldn't bother me.
Well, funny Mark, funny you mentioned that, because see the boy you talk about, the boy that came from Halfords, he was a big Rangers fan.
But back then, he'd get the job for the Lodge. He'd been with the rest of the goat molesters, the knuckle crunchers.
That must have been.
The point I'm making is
that must have been where his Boys Against Bigotry campaign and that came for then.
Yeah, exactly. Well, a lot of that was. I remember Celtic were actually criticised for that campaign because of how they spelt boys, Bhoys, and that the journalistic inquirers at the time were questioning whether or not there were sectarian undertones in the spelling of boys. It got really deep and dark, that whole thing. I think actually went quite wrong for McCann, that campaign, Mark. I don't know if you remember. I don't think it was too successful.
No, it didn't really take off, didn't it? No.
Marco,
what?
Going back to the day's game, see the way we played today and have played the last few games. Do you think it's better or on par with the best football we've seen with Ange domestically?
I think it's better, Jerry.
No, I wouldn't say yet, but I think it will get there.
Aye.
Because we're no doing it for the 90 minutes to get what I mean. Mind the Ange, we never stop stuff kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think we'll get a day. I think we'll get there, and it'll be just a matter of weeks once we get the big new signings in place and stuff like that. But once the team gets full up to speed and up to it's like their full match fitness and match sharpness, I think it'll be better football than we've seen under Ange.
Yep. I know. I've just thought some of the football we've played, even since pre-season. I know it's pre-season. I don't want some of the football has been brilliant, and some of the stuff that we're seeing is fantastic as well. And I just think we're looking at a right proper team. And as Greg said earlier on, I don't think there is going to be many it's going to be able to live with us. But again, we started last season brightly. It's a long season. It's only August, so we've got a lot of games to play, and you don't want to get carried away. But if we make the right signings, then that'll be fantastic.
I think I'm going to make a wee prediction, Jerry, right? So Rodgers has been at Swansea. He's been at Liverpool. He's had his formative time at Chelsea. He's been at Celtic. He's been at Leicester. I think what we're seeing now is Brendan Rodgers in all aspects of his professional career peaking. And I think he's going to peak this season. And I think he's going to peak next season. And I think we are now getting the absolute best of Brendan Rodgers' professional career. And I genuinely believe just everything I've seen, how he managed to drag us through, December and May last season was spectacular. And I just have a feeling that this is Rodgers now beginning to peak.
I think we'll wait to see. It's a long, hard season, as Doc said. A couple of more games that could be disastrous. So we'll wait to see. But I think we're heading in the right direction.
I mean, he's only 51, Greg.
I know, but what age was Stein when he won the European Cup?
I don't know. What age was he?
I don't know. I don't think
he was when he died. Put it this way, what age was he died? He died in 74, didn't he?
So Jock Stein
was 82 he died.
82, aye, because it was the thing, I'm drinking the World Cup, it was 82. So what age was when he died?
He was born in 1922.
So he was 55 when he won the European Cup.
Aye. No.
Aye. 45. No,
45. 45.
45.
That's very young. And do you know
he was only 62 when he died.
See, you got to remember as well, Mark.
Wales, wasn't it?
Aye.
But you got to remember as well what people forget about Stein. Before Stein took the Celtic job, he was the Scotland manager. A lot of people forget that. He had a level of professional experience that was, of its time.
I can't believe he was only 62 when he died. That's pure. That's pure note me for six here. Reading that.
Do you know what another wonderful fact about Stein was? So I lived in the south side of Glasgow and I used to play football up in Muir End. He lived in a very, very modest flat just along from Muir End. I mean, it was literally just a really small. Because a lot of people think this grand, amazing manager. He spent his final years between and I think his wife had a big influence on that. I think she was a very modest woman, but a lot of people would have thought, well, Stein stayed in this big grand mansion, stayed in a tiny wee flat.
Because there wasn't that much money in football back then.
I know, that's a good point.
I mean, I've heard from uncles and that, all players they knew and that, Bertie Alden, things like that, they made more money than even Celtic players. If they called it ham, do you know what I mean? About overtime. If they had overtime, they were getting more money than some of the Celtic players were.
Do you know what was a bizarre memory, Mark? This wee flat. I remember, I swear to God, I used to pass his flat and he'd be sitting on his veranda sunbathing. Stein. It was amazing. He was a wee guy, you don't really think about it, but looking back,
aye.
Great memory. And what was really interesting as well, one of his players, Jim Brogan, just stayed 150 yards round the corner from him in a really pretty grand house.
There's pure bounty information in it.
Oh, it's great. Great
Font of knowledge. He's full of broken bottles, as my mum says.
Oh, my whole Celtic knowledge is pure broken bottles. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, Henky asking how old you are, Greg.
Ask him to guess.
If I guess Henky, I don't even know, to be honest. I'll say, if you know Jerry, I'll say 37, 38.
That's very kind of you, Mark. Thank you. I'm 52.
Oh, you're older than me?
I am indeed.
I wouldn't have known that. He's saying 56, 50.
I think Big Jerry's bailed.
His phone will blow up or something like that, probably.
So what you saying?
I think he sounds a lot younger. I would never have said that.
Aye. But it's just like you, Mark. I've grown up and it's just been when your old man takes you along the London road, you're like 3 years old and you remember the old floodlights in the jungle. It's hard to knock it out your system.
Oh, definitely.
You know.
G-Doc 67. And what is it? Diverse group of people in it. What age is it? But Greg?
What age is what?
I'm just going to say, what age is the rest of these?
The rest of who?
The chat.
I don't know. The rest, I think Big Jerry's what? I think Jerry's late 30s, isn't he? 40?
I wonder if his phone's been off and overheated again.
It probably has.
Born in Janefield Street, Patrick 45, Henky's 47.
I must be one of the oldest.
This must be just a pure Celtic Daz. And a Celtic Daz podcasting chat.
That's one of the things I love about listening in, Mark, is that you've got some proper older fans, because what we have is the Green Brigade take a lot of noise, don't they? And they get a lot of plaudits. But there's so many older fans in their mid-40s and 50s that have got exceptional knowledge that really need to be heard. I think there's a real space in the Celtic community right now. You look at so most of the popular podcasts at the moment are all run by kids. You know, you've got the 20-minute Tims. They're all in their late 20s, early 30s. You've got your man Ryan. He's a kid. He's maybe 25. There's a real space for older Celtic fans to tell it as, you know, how it is.
Yeah. No, I could hear it. I only noticed when Brian said Jerry's clocked off that I wasn't there.
I thought maybe your phone had overheated again.
No, mate, no. I just seen Brian's comments saying I clocked off. I could still read the comments because I was talking.
I'm just delighted, Jerry. Someone thought I was 36.
I only did about 37, 38, Jerry, about the same age as you.
I'm 40, mate.
Are you 40? Aye.
Aye.
That was 38. Do you know what I mean? How can you look at somebody and guess 2 year difference in their age? Fuck, he's a wreck, mate.
What was I going to say? See the other week there before we signed Ida, and I was asking if you had to pick a striker from the previous since the 2000, who would that have been? You could go for Viduka, Sutton.
Larson?
No, say Larson. No, we'll go with Viduka, Hartson, Sutton. Don't include Larson because we'd all go for him. Hooper. Who would you have went for? Samaras.
What, to go in the team right now?
Aye.
I'm going to be controversial here, right? And a lot of people might think I'm a bit mental. I thought Griffiths was an outstanding forward.
I was going to say him, maybe.
Aye. I thought Lee Griffiths, on his day, I remember seeing Lee Griffiths score a goal for Hibs against Hearts and it was better than Nakamura's against Man U. Griffiths was an outstanding forward.
Aye. I say that all the time. I hate him, Greg, as a man. Do you know what I mean? I just see when we signed him.
The question was if you could pick somebody, before we signed Ida there, I was asking who would you have picked to play up front if you could pick MD that's previously played for us up front since 2000, not including Larson. Who would you have went for? You could have went far back as Viduka, Sutton, Hartson, Hooper, Samaras, Griffiths. Who would you have went for?
Well, who had the best stats, Jerry? That's an interesting question. And all those forwards, I'd be interested to know who had the best stats. Because I think who had the best stats was maybe Edward.
For me personally, it would be a toss-up between Dembele and Griffiths.
Aye, I'd be the same, Mark.
I mean, as I said, I don't like Lee Griffiths, but what a cracking player he was. You know what I mean? He could score goals inside the box, outside the box, free kicks, you name it. Do you know what I mean? He doesn't get, as I said, I don't like him, but I cheered on every goal he scored for Celtic. He scored a hell of a lot of important goals as well.
As a forward, Mark, I think the only thing, Jerry, this guy lacked was consistency. But Samaras, for me, had height, strength, ability. I think the only thing that Samaras lacked is he just didn't have that consistency. And if he had stronger consistency, then I'd be inclined to say Big Sammy.
That's a bit. So Lee Griffiths or Samaras, that's just controversial. Samaras was, for me, I wouldn't even class Samaras as a striker.
Oh, I thought Samaras on his game, Mark, was outstanding.
But he wasn't good. He wasn't doing it often enough.
That's
you know
what I mean,
sir.
That's what I mean. His consistency was there, Mark.
Aye.
Who would you go for?
Is that Atlanta Saint? Is that Atlanta Saint? That other guy, Henke? Aye.
Aye, looks like it.
That's great news, that.
Yep.
Jerry, who would you sign? Who would you have?
Well, somebody, I actually forgot about Robbie Keane. Somebody put him, but I'd have went for Big
no
Sutton.
way.
Big Sutton.
Would you go with Sutton over Griffiths?
Aye, I probably would have, to be honest. Because I'm thinking we've already got Kyogo there. I think Sutton. I would have went for Sutton. I even thought about Viduka, but I didn't think he done after what he done to us when he first signed.
Right.
We didn't see the best of Viduka.
No, granted we didn't, mate. Leeds were fortunate enough to see the best of him.
Here's one for you, Jerry. If we're talking about the best Celtic striker since 2000, Mark, who's the worst?
Oh,
Chris Killen or Dion Dublin?
No, I'll give you one worse than that.
Miku?
Bangura.
We signed the wrong one, did we know?
And you remember this, Mark?
That was the story, wasn't it?
Aye.
What about your man? So we had Oliver Tebele. Do you remember there was another Tebele that played up front and he was brutal, played against Partick Thistle?
No.
Aye. Tebele, can't remember his first name. He only played like 2 games. He was atrocious.
Tebele? Played up
front?
front?
Aye, Tebele was his name. Aye, up front, Google it.
Mark's on it.
Played against Partick Thistle, Tebele. Big forward. He was brutal.
I can't remember that, man, and I've not got access to Google, so I'd be lying.
Am I right, Mark? Can't remember his first name. It wasn't Oliver.
There's stuff coming up on Google, but when you click on it, you can't actually find anything about it as such.
Someone in the chat will know, but there was a forward, I reckon, I think it was around about 2011. Big forward called Tebele, and he was just shocking.
No, I can't.
You don't even get a mention on the Celtic wiki or nothing.
Well, I remember him.
Bobby's good at funny stuff. If it's about, he'll find it.
I remember him as vividly as Owen Archdeacon.
I remind that one, Greg.
We've had a few stinkers over the years, written off. I always thought Rasmussen was going to turn into a decent player.
Aye. You remember the season he played? They had
Shepovic, yeah. That was a belter, I know, wasn't it? That Shepovic.
Oh, aye.
I know he's not a striker, but a Borector or whatever. Him, the winger we signed for about £3.5–4 million, the Dutch boy.
He was horrific.
It was the first game of the season. He looked as if he could be a player, and then just nothing. Flashy stuff, and he thought, maybe he could turn out decent, and then he just injury after injury after injury. Jerry, you've disconnected again.
I think for me, Mark, that was one of the moments, really, when I started to understand the whole footballing mercenary term, because I thought Brigter was the absolute epitome of what became the term footballing mercenary, because I thought his primary objective was to rinse Celtic of it, and he didn't really have, I thought, a lot of care for Celtic. It was almost like, I'm on 20 grand a week, I couldn't care less. And there was, and I just thought mercenary.
Pookie, that was another one.
I thought Pookie was all right. I thought
even John, nice to see you again too. But did Pookie himself not come out and say he wasn't like mentally right? He hadn't grown up and matured. Do you know what I mean? Once it twigged to him that he needed to work a bit harder, that's when he became a half decent player.
I don't think he understood the gravity of being at Celtic and just the pressure that came with it.
Some of these names, man, Ollie Burke, Darryl Murphy.
Marco, there's one there. Remember that boy F1 Suarez?
Mexican. He was a midfielder.
He had a right good game.
Did we not get good money for him?
No, I think he debuted a right good game, then he was horrendous.
I mean, he was a right poor player, but I don't think we're kind of lost like, a lot of money out on him.
Remember
you think not Oliver Capo? Bobby's asking.
No. There was a Celtic forward. His name was Tebley, because I always remember. I thought he's as bad as Oliver, and his name was Tebley, and he played against Partick Thistle, and he was brutal.
That Efren Suarez is only 36-year-old.
I don't know.
Aye, the new.
Who was the French boy we got from Arsenal that was just as bad as anyone?
Ali Adier, Jermaine Ali Adier. He was going to be. They all thought he was going to be the next best thing.
Oh my God, he was horrific.
I think you hallucinated this other table.
No, I'm telling you, I'm absolutely convinced. His name wasn't Oliver.
Just because you're convinced doesn't mean. Do you know what I mean?
Aye. He's
funny.
Full of nonsense. Ali Adieri, we thought he was going to be brilliant.
Aye.
Get him on loan for his bird was a belter. I know that was that.
The best deal we ever got for Arsenal was Martin Hayes, mind him.
Oh, behave yourself.
Arsenal were giving him a free transfer and Billy McNeil gave him £650,000 for him.
Oh, Martin Hayes was another.
I saw him making his debut against Aberdeen. Made his debut against Aberdeen, and I swear to God, Jerry, my bad leg would still be able to pass the ball better than him.
Oh, Jerry, honest to goodness, Mark. I tell you what, he came with a right good. You know, people were saying this guy's a mate. It was around about the Stuart Slater era. Martin Hayes. Oh, it was when we were sponsored by People's, a garage. Oh my God, that was horrible.
But that crazy top, which became a kind of cult, hitting away top into the People's one. Good night, Brian. Thanks very much for coming in, bud. See you later, mate.
Thanks, Brian. Night, mate. All the best.
I remember how bad it was when that strip came out, and for some reason that has become a cult strip.
Aye.
I can't bear looking at that thing.
People's one.
I remember playing it. One of the times we played in it was away to Airdrie. I think it was in the League Cup, and we get beaten by Airdrie in that strip. And every time I looked at that strip, I could greet. It's horrible.
And see, when the pictures came out before the strip came out, it was different times back then. So, but see, when you looked at it, see the pictures in the paper, it looked as if it was brown. See the kind of marbly bit at the top.
It was brown. It was horrible, Mark.
But when you seen it, it was mere. It did have it was great. There was something no right about that. I don't know whoever came up with that.
Oh, jeez.
So what's the script for the weekend? St Mirren? Same team that started?
Just keep it going. No, I think Big Guido will start up front.
Aye. What's the script?
Mind you pronounce that right. But
it's Ida.
Paul, you mean right? Paul means to pull me up about pronouncing Big Adam Ida's name wrong on the podcast.
That's no Ida.
Anybody, I mean, it's the absolute cheek if anybody could ever mind Paul trying to pronounce some of the foreign players' names on here.
How's he getting on?
Aye, he's all right, aye.
You need to bring him back, see where he is, if he's available.
But I read it, Paul was up about the way I was pronouncing things. A cheeky wee get you, man.
Aye. So same midfield, hopefully.
No, I reckon Bernardo starting because O'Reilly's off.
Oh, they're havering.
You think O'Reilly will be away this week?
Listen, I have no doubt in my mind, Mark, he's gone. I think we're just lucky that he's playing, for whatever reason, he's playing these games. But he's off.
Aye.
100%.
The team at bottom have said it's all right. He can play right up to the last minute of the transfer window. It's fine.
That's it.
No,
Well, I think it'll be kind of just horses for courses kind of, but I think Big Eid will start up front.
What about the wings? It'll be Kuhn and who else? Did they drop Forrest or did they drop Maida?
Here, Jerry, was Palmer on the bench today?
He came on.
Did he come on? I never seen the game.
Aye.
I never seen it. How did they play?
Did they? No, he didn't really.
No,
I wouldn't say he played. He didn't. He wasn't involved that much, to be honest. You know what I mean? Didn't stand out, and I wouldn't say he played poorly.
You've really. I sometimes think you got to question Palmer, right? Because if James Forrest, who all credit and praise to James Forrest, but if James Forrest is getting in that team before Lewis Palmer, there's something not right with Palmer because he should be starting.
Again,
I just don't think he's a winger. I really don't. See the chaos you've caused in this chat, Greg, with this other table. Nobody else on the internet's ever heard of him. There's no mention.
I'm telling you, I'll find him. I'll track him down, and I'll send Big Jer a photo. There was a Tebbley that played for Celtic. I vividly remember he played against Thistle, and he was rotten.
What year? Run about when?
I reckon it was about 2012.
No, you're full of... No chance.
You, man.
It's Oliver Capo you're thinking of.
No. I'll find them, Jerry, and I'll send them to you.
Listen.
She fishing another own art speaking number, by the way. You're in the subs bench for the next podcast.
He's got his miles wrong. There definitely wasn't. 100% wasn't. Eh?
He's dreamt it or something like that.
100%.
I'm telling you.
He's been mushroom picking up the campsies. There's no chance. I've even forgot what we were talking about there because it must have been nonsense. Aye, so who's going to start? I know you're talking about Forrest, but
you're talking about
Forrest came on last season and finished the end of the season brilliant. And if it wasn't for him, would have been banging bother. He's had a good pre-season and the jersey's his now.
Do you reckon he could go the whole season, Jerry? Mark, do you reckon Forrest could stick it out the whole season?
No.
And we've said that. That's how it's fine. I mean, use him sparingly, but there's no chance we could get him playing week in, week out at that level for a season.
But listen, ask yourself this, Jerry, right? Gary McAllister, 37 years old, played for Liverpool in a treble-winning team, and he played every game. So why could James Forrest not do the same?
Gary McAllister wasn't running up and down the wing.
Aye, exactly.
He was. So did Strachan. Strachan was even older.
But I've said this on a podcast before. Could you not try James Forrest through the middle?
I reckon he's got the. I think there's a fair chance he could go the whole season. Why not?
No, not his age in that. No.
Yeah, Mark, he's only 32.
They struggled to keep him fit when he was 25.
Aye. He's hammies and all that. He's always prone to getting hammies and calf strains. There's no way we're going to be able to keep him playing every game. But that's where you've got a squad. That's where you've got a squad.
Forrest will have a big part to play, no doubt about it. But I mean, there's no way Forrest starting in the wings for us in the Champions League.
Okay, can I ask you a question, Mark? Right. So we're bringing in 3 players, but we can't get all 3. What's the priority position we need? So you're given the option of left back, centre half, central midfielder, or forward. You can only get one position. What are you taking?
Centre back for me.
Aye. Agreed.
What about you?
I would think I'd be confident with Taylor. But who backs up Taylor if he's out?
Scales.
I so hope we get a centre half and a left back. I really do.
I mean, who's the young left back coming through? Is it Anderson?
Turley. Is he a left back? He was on the bench today.
No, it was Anderson.
And
Turley was on the
Anderson
bench,
is a
Jerry, today.
I know, but I'm saying Anderson, I think, is a left back.
Where does Turley play?
Is he not a midfielder?
I thought
No
he was a
idea.
back, is he not?
No idea.
Aye, that's that exactly, Patty. Forrest he'll come off the bench in probably every game that he's no starting. But there's no way you can't be starting 10, 12 games in a row.
Well, listen, he started 6 in a row, taking pre-season. So maybe,
Bobby's still trying to find this other table. Eh? Bobby, drop it, mate.
Right. Bobby, it's the worst thing. The guy's name will be Peter Smith or something like that. And you're
Bobby,
looking for a
keep
table.
going. Bobby, you'll find him, I promise.
You can
Keep
look up you can look up every single Celtic player's name on the internet.
Hey, Mark, there's the odd one that escapes, believe me.
Nothing 12 years ago.
I'm telling you.
No. Do you think of Momo Salah?
No, Momo Salah. Who did they sign Momo Salah from? Where did Momo Salah?
Johnson.
Ah, that's it. For how much?
That Capo.
It's not Capo, it's Kebley, I'm telling you.
G-Talk's looking as well. Set the internet ablaze with this guy that doesn't exist. What, the Mandela effect? Maybe that's one of these Mandela effect things.
It's a good laugh anyway, Mark. I am utterly I'm convinced that there is a Tebley, believe me, because I always remember watching it thinking, my God, he's as bad as Oliver Tebley, if not worse. There's Big Jerry back.
I don't know. Listen, we never played Partick Thistle in 2012 either, so...
Jerry, I never said... Jerry,
he did say about that. He said around that.
I didn't say it for sure, but he played against Partick Thistle. His name was Tebley. He was up front and he was rotten.
Tebley?
I'm telling you, I'll find it and I'll send it to you. I'm utterly convinced.
This is one of the ones I've got about to about 4 in the morning. And then you find out that you were...
Dewey? Yeah, you sure it wasn't Dewey?
No, Dewey. Dewey was Chinese. Dewey. Oh my God. Hey, remember that we played? Remember Koki Mizuno?
No way. Aye. He was another one that was going to be the next wonder kid and that, wasn't he?
I know. He did score a good goal, I think, against Kilmarnock, if I remember right, though.
He did. He scored a peach, but I can't remember who it was against.
Kilmarnock, I'm sure.
Aye. There's Henke's. We never played Partick Thistle from 2004 to 2014.
Well, it would have been 2014 then. It would have been the starting 11, and I'm sure it was a cup game.
Honestly, man, I'm going to need to come off and Google this.
G-Dog, that's what came up on my thing, and it was like this ARR Craig Cup thing and that. I didn't know. I've never heard of that in my puff.
I know. It was an obscure game. It might actually have been a friendly.
Oh, here we go. Right. It's getting the plot thickens.
It's good. I don't even know what to say to this now.
I know. Why on earth did you open your roof, man? We're all everyone and granny's going to be emailing into Celtic to find out who this was.
Don't you just love the intensity of Celtic anoraks? Superb.
You sure it was Oliver Tebley's came up front? But he's even names the second name now.
Tebley.
Now, granted, Tebley might have been his middle name, but I'm sure it was his surname.
Mark, cut him off, man. Cut him off.
I've got his address, Jerry. I'm scratching his windies tonight. I'm canning your windies tonight, pal.
Oliver might have been his middle name. Or Tebley might have been his middle name. That's just shocking.
Anyway, listen. Enough of Oliver Tebley, because that was a horrific period as well.
Aye.
Maybe it was like Tom. Maybe it was a player that took Tebley's name.
No, he wasn't.
We Odin Thiago, he took Thiago's name. Do you know what I mean? Maybe somebody thought I'm having a bit of that. Jimmy Taylor and Mackenzie.
That's a bit of pressure, though, is it not? To be called after Thiago. My goodness.
A bit, you wouldn't have put that so. Boy must have some ego in himself already at this age. Do you know what I mean?
I wonder because there was an issue.
Related to
Who?
That Thiago. You talked about that Thiago. It was at Liverpool.
Aye.
Who was he related to?
Aye.
Oh, his family.
Was Thiago not related to?
I
can't mind, Jerry.
He's cut off. He's done a Greg. He's asked a question in Baltic, no left to answer. This is our area in here, man.
It's one of the great. I tell you, throw in.
He's gonna have to Google things. That's what he's doing.
I know. Jerry,
no.
Let it go.
He's there.
Let it go, Jerry.
Aye, who's he related to? Rihanna.
Is it no?
Yeah,
is it no Shania Twain?
No, it's that Rafina. It's his brother, is it no?
Rafina?
Aye, see the boy went to Barcelona for Leeds.
So used to play with Leeds.
Aye.
That's Holmes' brother.
Oh, fuck. Is that what we were talking about? Is my camera on?
That was a good laugh. I've not laughed this much.
How could that Thiago be home?
I thought my camera was on, that's what you were laughing at.
No, I'm laughing at Greg.
What am I starting?
That is Rafinha Holmes' brother.
The village idiot.
I'm crying here, man. This is too much. There's someone in the chat still looking for Pemberley.
No, somebody's got it.
Oh, that's terrible, man. That's terrible.
Someone's found Pemberley.
Yes.
I told you. Didn't I?
You're terribly shite.
Oh, for God's sake. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, back to normality. Someone ask a question, man. This is too much.
Here. Listen, I'll need to shoot because my neighbours at the door. I think the dogs escaped.
Oh,
I'll phone you, but I'll jump back on, right?
No bother, Jerry. No bother, bud.
Oh, Mark, I've not laughed that much in ages. That was hilarious.
You went askew there, man. I'm just the way you said that. Rafinha's Holmes' brother.
Oh, that was good fun. So,
while he's away, I'm with you, by the way, Greg. I stayed on it all along. Monday.
Said what?
I was putting my faith in Brendan Rodgers this Monday. And I'm
listen,
you know what I mean? For the next 2 weeks, I'm still doing the exact same thing. Even when you see him, it doesn't look worried. He keeps coming out with this trust the process. I think he knows that there's players going to come in. Maybe it's not even going to be his first choice players, but it's still going to be players that he knows can do the job he wants them to do.
Well, one of the things I like about Rodgers, right, his ability to guide us through the dark stages of last season absolutely won my trust in him big time. And what I think he's doing really cleverly, Mark, he's almost saying to the board, I'm showing a level of commitment and a level of ease and a level of confidence. You can't make me look like a fool. Does that make sense?
Aye.
And it's almost like if Celtic don't deliver on at least two really, really strong signings, the fans will be right on Brendan Rodgers' side even more. And they're right on his side right now. So I think he's very cleverly putting a good amount of pressure on the board that he's keeping his side of the bargain. He's building the team. He understands that we need real strength. And I think the board, it won't be Rodgers that looks foolish at the end of this. It will be the board. So, and I think I would be astounded, Mark, if we've not got two real players of quality in the next fortnight.
Is that right, Bobby? Bobby's funny.
Tebbley.
Mama do Tebbley Adrusso.
Thank you.
2011.
I told you. Was his middle name Tebbley?
Aye.
I apologise. But I knew there was a Tebbley there. That's great groundwork, man. Whoever found them.
Well done, Bobby, finding that. But
Bobby.
Never. I see the thing about it. See when these random players and names, they've got to have been at least at the club for a year. You get what I mean? They're saying at least 6 months, but I mean, you can't even the second name doesn't even ring a bell with me.
I'll tell you what though, how's Big Jerry? Big Jerry's going to get it tight when he comes back on, by the way.
Aye.
I'm telling you, because I knew, but I'm sure, see when he was actually presented to the team sheet, I am positive that he was regarded as Tebbley, Mark.
It might be, it's obviously he's a foreign guy, you know, so maybe just depending on the way you put the kind of the name they pick out their name get into it kind of thing.
Aye. Do us a favour, Bobby, go and see if he, for sure he played against Partick Thistle, if you can. I'm sure he did, because he missed an absolute... In fact, he might have scored against Thistle.
Bobby works for me. Don't be telling Bobby what today. Bobby works for me. Don't come in here throwing your weight about.
Oh,
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Oh.
But no, I'm sure he played.
Like Greg, or was it just someone that?
No,
over the years.
I remember. You know what it's like when you support Celtic, Mark. You kind of, as you get a bit older, you've got a kind of a ridiculous, crazy interest in keeping knowledge. And I just remember. The key thing that I remember was he played against Partick Thistle and he had the same name as Oliver Tebbley. And I remember watching him thinking, he can't be as bad as Oliver. And he kind of was.
He did page after page open there, and his little CD wouldn't allow it to delete it all. That's something, that is.
You know what it's like though, Mark, if you love the club, you just accumulate a ridiculous amount of knowledge. It's stupid.
I can sleep now.
But no, it's great.
Jerry back.
Jerry's back on.
He went away again.
He was trying to get back on. I need to at least wait until he comes back on.
We need to try. Aye.
Just to remind them.
He was a semi-pro player. What was he? Was it a trial and a friendly or something like that?
No, if I remember right, I'm sure, Mark, it was a cup game. I think it was like the earliest stages, because if I remember, it was a right sunny day, and it was the early stages of the League Cup. I can't remember who the manager was. It might have been Mowbray. But
2011. Lennon, didn't know.
Or maybe it was Lennon. It could have been Lennon. It could have been Neil.
He was in trials for Scottish teams.
Aye. But anyway, Mark, just to get back to the signings, and I when you think back of the experiences you had growing up in the board and how bad it was, I understand people give the board a hard time and the kind of unwillingness to maybe spend what would be regarded as a lot of money. But I'm kind of not in their defence hugely, but I really do think it's worth noting how difficult I think it is to get players to Glasgow. And I think that's one of the main issues. Strachan spoke about it a lot, didn't he?
Oh, aye. I mean, it's not getting them to Glasgow. It's the standard of the league. Let's not be kidding. Do you know what I mean? That's basically what it is. And maybe again, it's harder to get the quality that Brendan Rodgers wants to come in to the club, where it's easier to get the kind of projects in the door.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Players. It's easier to offer a player that's a step up with a pay rise to a bigger club, a massive. there are no many clubs bigger than Celtic, but do you get what I mean? Even if you're down in England, if you're only a young player like your Dembele's and Matt O'Reilly's in that, it's a great step up in their career. It's harder to get a player. It's harder to get a player to take a sideways step.
What do you think?
Or even a backward step in their career.
Here's an interesting question, Mark. What do you think the outcome will be if we don't sign anyone else? How do you think Rodgers will react to that? And how do you think the fans will react to it? Do you think the fans will just put up with it?
But what can they do? That's the thing about it. We all know what we want. We all know what we want. Brendan Rodgers has told everybody what he wants. He's told the board what he wants. And it's nobody barely thinking about it. Because again, what are the options to the fans? But even if we just pick, if the window shuts at midnight the night and that's it for Celtic, and that's it, Henky, the fans will moan whatever we do, that's true as well. But if the window shut the night, do you know what I mean? Aye, will Celtic win the league? Aye, will they win the treble? I'd say we're still favourites for it, do you know what I mean? Again, will we improve in Europe? Maybe a wee bit, just because we seem to be playing a better system under Rodgers, another year under him, and what Rodgers can maybe do for us in Europe. But we're not going to improve that much to make any difference, if you get what I mean.
Do you think it's completely out of the question to consider another 2 Adam Ida signings? Because I think I've got a feeling, and I could be totally wrong, I've got a feeling that's what they're going to do. I think they're going to outlay another £8-9 million on 2 players, and maybe another one that's not maybe around the 3 or 4 million mark, more of a kind of project. But I just do have a real strong feeling that we'll spend another fair amount of money. You think that's unrealistic?
Definitely. Again, if Matt O'Reilly goes, we'll spend, see like that, the Belgian guy we were talking about, 10 million of that. I can see us going to spending that on Matt O'Reilly's replacement.
That's the Oxford boy.
Aye. The American guy that we were looking at, or somebody like that. But people have said that Bernardo's Matt O'Reilly's replacement, but I don't believe that. I think they're different types of players.
I agree. I agree.
So I don't think it's a kind of. I don't think that kind of fits the way we're playing the now. You can't replace Matt O'Reilly with Bernardo, in my opinion.
Yep. I know. It's.
But I agree with you. I still think that Celtic will spend another, I'll say £20 million this summer.
I think so as well. And I think I do believe that they've got the money. I think it will be 2 players that fit the same kind of wage as what Ida will be getting. I think maybe Ida might be the top earner now. I would be surprised though if he's earning more than 40 grand a week. And I can't see them bringing in. I don't think they'll go beyond that kind of wage. So it's whether or not we can get the absolute quality that Rodgers wants on a budget of maybe £9 million and 40 grand a week.
Aye, I agree with that.
Because I don't think that's the type of player that's out there that's just freely available. I think the work that is required to be done to try and get that kind of player is just, I just think there's so much work that will be required to be done,
And the players, I'm looking at it as a case of the players were after that. Even at 420, nice to see you, mate. She always comes in when we're finished, ready to wind things up. See the players. This is one of the things I'm hoping as well, that the players that were chasing and trying to sign, that they're obviously at a level that they've got options. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They maybe get an offer to go and play for maybe a mid-table team in Spain, stuff like that, or whatever. So they're waiting up. Carter Vickers held us after the very last day of the window, waiting on assurances and stuff that he would still get his USA, he'd still get his place in the USA if he was playing in Scotland and stuff like that. So all these things come into it as well. And I say it as well, transfers, it's not a case of Michael Nicholson's not sitting there 24/7 on the phone talking to people about signings. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They'll send email stuff and talking that, and then it's a case of, right, well, the other club needs to go and talk it over with the board or whatever, and it can take days and that for even an email to get answered and stuff like that.
See, I think the next week's really crucial, right? Because I don't believe they'll be in a position where they want to leave it to the last day.
No.
And I would worry, see if we get into the last week and we've not got anyone, I would worry about the likes of a Gamboa signing or a Nat Phillips type signing. So I'm hoping that there will be 2 biggies this week. And that could just, be sounding like an absolute fantasist. But I do genuinely think if we're going to do it, if we're going to make the next step, if we're going to make small improvements in Europe, this is the week where we need to bring in 2 big signings, at least.
No, I've got. I mean, for transfer negotiations, the way I think about it is, you've got to have a cut-off point at some point. See, supposing there's a first choice centre backs swithering and dithering. No, I need a few days to think about it. Blah blah blah. You've got to say, like, right, well, we need to know by Wednesday coming.
Yep, couldn't agree more, Mark. Couldn't agree more.
We need yes or a no on Wednesday, no matter what it is. Because then if you're not coming, we need to move on to give us time to get our next target in.
Aye.
You're hoping as well that, do you know what I mean, even the beat, like we're number 2 choice, that there's still negotiations a certain way down the line kind of thing, do you know what I mean? See, really, to a certain extent, I feel sorry for Michael Nicholson.
So
I mean, I don't think he's the right man for the job, but I'm not starting to get into that at this time of night. But any CEO, I mean, it's a thankless job, and the plates that you've got to juggle, and you know what I mean? Because the manager's on his back to get these things done.
Well,
but he knows the fans. He's seen that. Do you know what I mean? He's seen what the fans are saying and stuff like that. But maybe it's totally not his fault.
Here's an interesting thing for you. It's not like Michael Nicholson is new to these procedures. Michael Nicholson's first duty of confirming a signing was George Cadetti. That's how far Nicholson's involvement goes back with signing Celtic players. So, I think we also underestimate Nicholson's ability. He's been doing this for a very, very, very long time. So
enjoy your painting 420, mate. Have a good night, bud.
Is that 420 on and then straight off?
I just popped in there. He's going to wait to listen back to the start. He's doing some decorating.
I hope he enjoys the Oliver Tebley question. That was the highlight for me. I can't wait to speak to Jerry, honestly. That's funny.
But I just did the other night in John was when I just don't think Nicholson's get the... I mean, I'm not doubting he's got the kind of credentials to do the job, but he's not got the personality to be the CEO.
Well, I don't know.
Like Celtic.
I think
he doesn't like talking in public. So do you know what I mean?
There's things I've heard about the Nicholson dynamic that are interesting, and I think what Michael Nicholson has been, he's had the misfortune of experiencing is a tenure under Peter Lawwell, because I think Peter Lawwell is a particular character that would have an effect on your whole performance. And I think if Lawwell was maybe more out of the scene, you might see a different Michael Nicholson. I think the influence that Lawwell still has over Nicholson is very, very strong, Mark.
You think so? Aye.
100%.
Even the kind of, I don't know how to, kind of overpowering just because it used to be kind of understood. Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I don't know how to put it, but I know what you mean.
Aye, and I think what Nicholson
if you get an apprentice at work, you know what I mean? Even when the guy turns 25, 30, he's always been he's still your apprentice. Still looks up to you. Do you know what? I get what you mean by that.
I think Nicholson is just eternally in the shadow of Peter Lawwell. But I think the reason that Lawwell will not leave is maybe that Desmond won't allow him to. Because whether you like him or loathe him, he has steadied a ship for many, many years. A ship that has brought a lot of success. So it may be... Eh?
His role with the ECA, his role with UEFA and that with Peter Lowell, that's mad. I've said that before on here. I'm not a fan of Lowell, but see how Peter Lowell, the level he's involved at with UEFA and the European Club Association and stuff like that. That Scotland as a whole is lucky to have somebody that high up there.
Of course it is.
And that's why I've said it before. I think that's one of the reasons it was brought back as chairman, because you need to be connected to a club to hold the position on these UEFA committees and stuff like that.
Mark, honestly, and people of our era will simply remember how dark it was in previous years in the 90s. So I've got a lot of understanding of the board, how they operate, the difficulties they have. And yes, I understand there's the whole dividend issue and there's the whole money making for private firms and all the rest of it. But I think in the current kind of culture of football, what we have is, I'm not overly happy with it, but I think it could be a lot worse.
Oh, we just need to look across the road to see how bad it could be.
Yeah. So
sorry about that. Just that Barton. Be quiet.
That's all right. But I don't.
Yeah, I don't think Jerry's coming on. So just wind that up, right, Greg? That's 2 hours.
Well, it's been a pleasure being on, Mark. Thanks you
very much again for coming on, bud. I appreciate it.
No, you're very welcome. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you enjoyed it.
It was a good laugh, wasn't it?
Oh, it was good fun. Good fun. Anyway, thanks for inviting me on. I'll hopefully speak to you soon, Mark.
No bother, Greg. Thanks for coming on, mate. Good night, bud. Good night.
Good night. Good night.
Hey, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Thanks very much for tuning in. I hope you did a good laughing. Again, just thanks for all the likes, supporting that, and even coming in and listening to us. Remember, if you know how, leave a comment. Remember and hit the like button, and we'll probably be back on Thursday night again. Hail, hail, lads. Good night and God bless.